Cheva, today we're going to learn, we'll see how Maharal learns the Pasuk. I just want to tell you before we see anything, the Maharal in Derech Chaim in Perek Hey says a whole shtickle Torah to explain why by Avram Avinu it says Shnei Na'arav Imoy, and by Bilam it says Shnei Na'arav Itoy. And he says a shtickle Torah to explain it. It's almost the whole page. But then you look at the Chumash, it's the opposite. By Avram Avinu it says Itoy, and by Bilam it says Imoy. I'll give you a simon to remember. Avram is with the Aleph, it's Itoy. Bilam is with the Ain, it's Imoy. And the Maharal says a whole drasha faket. So there are all kinds of tiruts in trying to answer the questions from the Rebbe of questions and so on. Till came the Kotzker Rebbe, it's brought on the Sefer Divrei Emes, and he said, no, it's a mistake. And why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring about the Maharal to make such a kind of mistake? To show he wasn't a Malach. Because otherwise you might have thought he's a Malach. Because how could you reach such dalgas in Torah? Apparently he was a Malach. Nobody said, I think today we're going to see something similar to that. And can you guys have an answer? And whoever will have an answer will be paid handsomely. And I know I'm dealing here with people well-to-do that at 5 pounds won't do it. So we're going to have to think of something much more than 5 pounds. Be'ezu Hashem. What? And we're going to start. Let's start. And a lot of you said this, the Maharal's going to say here. We're starting on page 1, where Perek Ches, it starts in Pasuk Alva. Hashem told them to tell Aaron, and the Tzvardim came, and they covered Tzimtzayim, and then Pasuk Dalet. Vayikra Paro leMoshe uLaAaron vayomer ha'atiru el Hashem, damet Hashem, vayaser hatzvardim mimeni ume'ami ve'eshlachat ha'am v'yizbechu laHashem. That's what it says. Vayomer Moshe leFaroi, yitpa'er alai, like, test me out, I'll impress you. Lematay ha'atir lecha u'la'avadecha u'la'amcha lahachris. Now this will be on page 3. Hatzvardim mimcha me'besecha. Rak bayot ha'shana. So Rabbi said, what does that mean, lemasai? So let's give a look at Rashi on page 1 again. What does Rashi say in Pasuk Hey, this second Rashi? Lematay ha'atir lecha. Et asher ha'atir lecha yom. I'm going to daven for you today. Meaning Rashi's come to say, Lematar ha'atir lecha does not mean when should I daven for you. It doesn't mean that. Then it would have said Matai ha'atir lecha. Lematai means, when do you want the results of the davening to kick in? Not when the tefillah should be said, but when do you want the tefillah to be answered? The results. That's what Rashi is going to say. Lematai ha'atir lecha, et asher ha'atir lecha hayom, al achatat hatzadim, lematai tirtzeh sheyikartu. When would you want them to be removed? Let's see, test me out if I could complete my words for the time that you fixed. אילו נאמר מתי עתיר, היה משמע מתי אתפלל. עכשיו שנאמר למתי, משמע אני היום אתפלל עליך, I'm davening today, שיקרתו הצפרדים, לזמן שתקבע אליי. אמור לאיזה יום תרצה שיקרתו. That's how Rashi learns. Okay, and the next Rashi, Atir, we'll go now to page 3. Atir, Tarta, okay. It's a Lashon Tefillah. So let's see what Paro answered him. So it's real. Vayomer, this is Pasuk Yud. Right? Oh, it's Pasuk, no, it's Pasuk, not yet, Pasuk Vav. Vayomer lemachal. So Paro answered, tomorrow. ויאמר כדברך למען תדע כי אין כהשם אלוקינו. And then what happens? וסור הצועדים מלכם ביתך ומעבדך ועמך רק בירת השרמה, ויצא מוישה ואהרון מפרוי, ויצעק מוישה, and ויצעק מוישה. says Rashi, ויצעק מיד שיכרתו למחר. That's how Rashi learns. Go out of the Maharal, we're going to maybe come back to it later, disagrees with Rashi at that point. And he says the chiluk between matai and lematai is not when should I daven, or when should you want the davening to be replied? That's how Rashi learns. The Maharal disagrees. But the point that, well, let's start. But let's start on page 1, where the arrow is, letter Aleph, on page 1. Et asher palel hayom dim lo ken. Meaning, dim lo ken means, if you're not going to say that Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking about when the tefillah should be answered, but rather when should I daven, lo aven lemichtav lematay belamed, el lematay atir lecha. El hakoch hatefillah haya miyad. V'achatat hatzvardim lo haya miyad. Ve'ein lakshot lepirush, according to Rashi, mihi tzichol lomar kach. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu feel that he should do this? ולמה לא אמר מתי יעתר לך ויהיה משמעת התפילה וההחלטה יהיה בשעה אחת? I mean, if you would have asked, when should I daven for you? What does it mean? When should you daven? Should I daven? And Yetz Hashem, that davening will be answered immediately. So why is Moshe Rabbeinu saying, I'm going to daven now? What time do you want the davening to kick in? The Ev Shalom Kizeh, meaning that Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, למתי? חידוש גדול יותר בתפילה. והיה צריך להתפלל על שני דברים. האחד שיקרתו, ובזה הזמן יקרתו. To עניין יותר גדול. It's a taller order. Not only when should I daven for you, and it means automatically they should be removed immediately, but rather, I'll daven for you for two things. I'll daven for you that they should be removed, and in addition to that, the exact hour that you want it to be removed. It's showing more chidush. Fine. Now we're going to skip meanwhile what the Maharal argues, and let's go now to page 3, which is the obvious question, which I'm sure all of you are thinking to yourself. On page 3, by the arrow. Why is Paro saying machar? The quicker the better. He's suffering from the frogs, and when you suffer, when do you want the pain to stop? Yesterday. Tomorrow. What's the pshat? It's a kasha all the Rishonim ask. The Ramban, the Ebenezer, they all ask on this pasuk. So he's saying, I love this. כי יודע היה פרו, כי יום שבא המכה, באותו היום אין להסיר אותה. כי אותו היום הוכה. Paro understands, the day that I got hit, I can't ask for HaKadosh Baruch to do the opposite. The day that HaKadosh Baruch brought the tzvardim, he's not going to remove them. He won't do two opposite things on the same day. Let's wait tomorrow. Now it's Midas Adin, so it's Midas Adin. Like, when someone's angry, whatever, don't try to work it out now. Tomorrow. A new day. I asked them out, really? That's how it was done in all plagues? What about other plagues? The Ein Lakshot, the Ha'aru v'Habarad, Haya Asara Samiyad. They were removed immediately, not the next day. Lo dami hachatat tzvardim, la'afsakat ha'barad u'lasat ha'arov. It's one against two. The tzvardim had to be pushed off to the next day, but the barad and the arav were removed immediately.
I thought each makkah was a week.
Okay, that's going to be another kasha. Shederech ha'arav, we're going to get to it soon. Shederech ha'arav liot olech haba. It's not called opposite. Animals, that's how they work. They come and go. That's how they do it. וכן דרך הברד, להפסיק. אבל החטאת הצוורדיים, להמית אותם. That's כיוון שהוכה אותו יום. Since he was hit that day, לא באה הצלה באותו יום. להפוך הסרת הערוב וכן הבורד, וגם בעת המכה, even it's the day of the got hit, דרך הערוב שהולך ובא. What does הולך ובא mean? He comes and goes. וכן הברד, כל ברד הוא ברד עניין חדש כדלהן. Rabbi say, there's something here, בבקשה רב כדורי, here. There's something here amazing, which it's unbelievable. How do you understand? When did the Arov and Barad stop? Okay, but immediately, right? The Barad was immediately, and the Arov also immediately. No, you don't have the Chumash Barad, we're going to see it soon. It says explicitly the Arov was Machar. Give a look at footnote 11. And this is something I'll tell you, boys. It's another efshek to show he's not a malach. Give a look at footnote 11. Masha katav arov hu kosher tuva. It's tremendously not understood. Ki beferush nemar ba'arov she'asarai rak lemuchrat pasuk avei. I'll show it to you in a minute. V'lo od. And shebekvus Hashem perek lamed gimel that he speaks about the same issues. Bi'er she'tzvardeim ve'arov husru rak lemuchrat. Again, what we say, let's make it clear. Barad stopped in the middle of the air immediately. Tzvardim, the following day. Where's Arav? With the following day or immediately? So in the Gurari, what does he say? It's together with bara. Nachon, immediately. You know, in verse he says it was the next day, and he says the same reason, and he says, look what he says. I'm footnote 11. The second line. אלא שבגבוס השם פרק ל"ג ביאר שצפרדעים וערוב הוסרו רק למחרת. These are two plagues which were removed the following day. וזה לשונו, ומה שמר בצפרדעים למתי העתיר, דמשמע דווקא למחר ולא היום, וכן גבי הערוב, here's the פוסק, ושר הערוב למחר, מפני כי החטאת הצפרדעים הפך בית הצפרדעים, that's opposites. וכן הערוב שגזר ביום זה יהיו, then he decreed on this day it should happen. איך היא גוזר גזר ההפך זה שיכלו? אחר שבאה המכה לכל יום, אין המכה שר באותו יום. So here the Maral says, Arv could come and go on the same day. That's animals wander around back and forth. And therefore it was removed on the same day. It's not a stira, because animals come and go. That's what it says in the Gemara. And the Gemara says, no. The day the animals come, they didn't come naturally. They can't leave today, they can leave tomorrow. But it says refresh and the pasuk was machar. So how could the Maral right here in the Gurarye that look again by footnote 11 after number 10. Ve'ein lakshot ha'arav v'habarat haya sarasam miyad. Lo nachon. Arav it says explicitly in the pasuk was machar.
Can you argue that maybe that when the Arav went, it was in two stages. So immediately they stopped attacking.
It's the same thing. Like it's exactly the same thing like Tzvardim.
No, because there's a difference between Borat.
But it doesn't.
Can stop in
You see in verse the Maral didn't do that. You see in verse he connected Arav to Tzvardim.
I'm saying that the fact if they stopped attacking people.
Okay, it's like Zalala. I showed this to Rabbi Shapira. He said he doesn't have shot. It's unbelievable. The Maral did it here. I mean, Rabbi said, if you want to look in after it, it says with Tzach Ian Gadol. It's a Pella Otzom. Rabbi said, maybe you want to look in a Chumash. We don't have a Chumash in front of us. You want to look into Chumash? Perek Ches Pasuk Kafhei. Of the Chumash here somewhere? We need Baruch. Okay, if not, Rabbi said, you look it up later. Fine. Say it. But it says explicitly, I'm telling you, the pasuk here, it's brought down here. It says, "V'sar ha'arav lemachar." That's lashon ha'pasuk. So how come the Maral says that it was immediately removed, like barad? And you see in verse Hashem in Perek Lamed Gimel, he paired up arav with what? With tzvadim. Both were tomorrow. And he explains why. Look, he says even opposite svaras. Here he says that animals come and go, so it could go on the same day. And look what he says in the verse, in footnote 11. וכן הערב שגזר ביום זה יהיו, איך אין גוזר ההפך זה שיכלו? הקדוש ברוך הוא can't make a decree the animals are going to go the same day. But here he says he could. Because it's not Shver the Maral Gvuris, but the Maral Gvurai, what is he saying? That the Arv was removed immediately. It wasn't. It says Machar. Ve'ein poter otam leparoi. Rabbi says, if you have any solution, there's maybe something to work out, but it's mamash a pelagodol. You see in Gvuris, he didn't do that. The same Mechaber. Here he's pairing up Aruv with what? With Barad. He's saying, how come they both can be removed immediately? It's not a stira. Because Barad comes one after another. So you stop, it stops, it's okay. It's not a contradiction. And animals roam around, and they come and go. It's not a stira. Tzvardim, the day that it comes, the day it's going to remove, no, you can't say that. It has to be machar. That's what he says in the Gemara. In the verse, he says the way we have it in the Torah. He pairs up Arav with Tzvardim. They both have to be tomorrow. And Barad could have been immediately. Rabbi say it's a Pella Otzum, and I showed it to Rabbi Shapir. That's I remember exactly after the Shir on Friday. We was stuck, and he took Chumash. He says, "I don't know that." Rabbi Shapir, I don't know. Maybe again you could say the Kotzker Rebbe word. I'm serious. L'chora, And even if you'll come up with some kind of explanation, well, why did the Maharal put himself in such a corner? Why didn't he write here the way he wrote in verse? A sefer they printed 4 years later. Even if you'll find some kind of deichatika thing, why? What's pushing it to say it? Rabbi said, I promise you, a very serious gift I'm going to give to someone who can answer this. I'm not joking. Not Coke. I'm not going to give Coke. This is a kasha I have for a few decades. If anybody comes up with a teretz, go ask. I promise you, I'm going to show my appreciation. And I have investments in Saudi Arabia. It's a big secret, but don't tell anybody. By the way, it's such a secret that even HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not aware of it. Which means... which means it may not exist, but don't worry. Right? I'll sponsor a few things by Ullman. But look it up, guys. Look it up. It's so schwer. Over here, you're saying Arv was immediately when the pasuk said black and white machar. Like by Tzfardim, it said machar. And in the verse, he put them together, chavrusa. The Tzfardim with Arv. Give a look at Michal. Give a look. You could call me up for this, even if you haven't.
I'm not trying to answer.
You're not. But if you haven't, by the way, I want to tell the Olam, if you have an answer, you could call me up at 3:00 in the morning. I promise you. Promise. By the way, once I had a Talmud, I told you, a teenager, as it happens, he says he can't fall asleep at nights. I said as a joke, not even thinking twice, I said, Rebbe, you can't fall asleep? Next time when you can't fall asleep, give me a call. I'll tell you Advar Torah. I promise you'll fall asleep immediately. That's what I told him. I didn't think a second afterwards what I said. It was like a banter, a joke, and goodbye. Lo and behold, that night, I kid you not, he called me up. I saw it 3:00 in the morning. And I didn't want to look at my wife, so I ran out of the room. And let's say his name's Moshe. Moshe, what's going on? Everything's okay? No, Rebbe told me that if I can't fall asleep, I'll tell me about that. I remind myself. I said, you're right. Okay, give me 3 minutes. I'll wash it down. I'll make Birkas HaTorah. Call back in 3 minutes. Fine. He called back in 3 minutes, and I told him about Torah for 25 minutes in a monotone voice, like, I almost fell asleep. After 25 minutes, he tells me, I'm still up. So I had to tell him, I'll daven for you, cold too. But looking into it, it's a pelagodl. You see in the verse, he didn't do that. In verse, Hashem didn't go like this. But anyway, okay, next. Michal, what else do you want to say?
No, I'm just going to, not to add, but by borrowed, it's not like Paro was even given the option. Paro wasn't asked when he wanted to stop
Right.
it. Paro said, stop it, just stop
Right.
it. And then the Pasuk says, no, only stop the next day. So Kilu, there was no option there even for it to stop.
And Baruch didn't stop the next day, right? By Arv, you mean? By Arv, yeah. Nachon. Moshe's l'macha, 100%. But you know what's a little bit maybe? But again, why should the man put himself in such a corner? Maybe a little bit of a direction. I'll give it. But again, I didn't come up with anything. But maybe you guys will. In Pasuk Cafe, what does it say? Again, what does it say in Pasuk Cafe? V'salamacha. And then the following pasuk. What's the following pasuk there? And then it doesn't say machar.
No, he doesn't there for it to go the following day.
But pasuk doesn't mean it's the following day, right? It says like Moshe said. What?
He said, I'll daven for it to go tomorrow, and then the next pasuk says he then went out and davened.
And davened and it went away. It says and went away. Kidvar Moshe. So, but pasuk to me, it's the next day. Well, he's going to do more than what Moshe asked. Moshe, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Okay, Moshe, let's go on. Here's going to come the question. Okay, Atkan this part. Is this another raya that the Maharal was not a malach? I don't know. The Kotzker Rebbe could say it. I could say it. What? That there's a mistake that the Maharal did in Der Chaim. That he said by Avraham Avinu, it says V'shnei narav imoy, And by Bilam it says Shnei Narav Itoi, and he has a whole reason why. And then in Chumash it says the opposite. So said the Kotzker Rebbe, it's a mistake. Why did Kodesh Baruch Hu allow this? That to show us that the Maral was not a Malach. You would have thought he's a Malach. So he made a human error, so that means he's a human being. And yet, look what he reached. That's what the Kotzker Rebbe said. It's brought down in the Sefer Dibra Emes. It's a Sefer of Kotzk. Could you say the same thing here? I would be afraid to say it. You got to be a Kotzker Rebbe to say it. So we're going to leave it with Tzorchi and Godel. It's a Tmiya Gdoila. Okay, let's go on. Here comes the question that Rav Ari asked. The Kasha, we're going on page 3. The Kasha Mekan Razal. She'amru, and Rashi quotes it. Kol Makam Meshameshet Rebi Yitzchak Chodesh. Every makkah was for a week, or a fourth of the month. But lo makkah satzvadim alidei tfiloso shel Moshe husru. We removed it on the second day, but it's not a week. Mi hazeh yesh l'taretz avagav shenichutu hayta makkah meshameshet shivat yamim. It still was for 7 days. K'dechsi bativa she'aretz. It had a terrible stench. Is that the word in English? Stench. That's also part of the makkah. Yeah, the tzvadim stopped, but they were dead, and there was a terrible, terrible odor. Terrible. And that went on for 7 days. Okay, that's answer number 1. Omnam mina orov shegam haya Moshe mitpalel alam, as we saw. And there's no over there that it was terrible stench. Afterward, they were removed immediately that they shouldn't make any money from the furs, right? The mechen habarat kasha. Where's the week? אבל החושך שהיה בוב ימים, יש את ארץ, כמו שאמרו רז"ל, כי נשאר יום אחד על הים. In קריאס ים, so there's one day, והיה ענן בחושך למצרים. אך כאשר העורב והבורה דוסרו על ידי תפילות של משה, איך היה משמש זין ימים? That's Ari's kasha. By Tzfardim, he said, meanwhile, teretz, the stench went on. Okay. V'yesh l'taretz, look at this teretz he's going to say. Tell me this, isn't it something for psychologists to know? Since normally the makkah went on for a week, yeah, by Tzfardim and by all of them, they went away after a day or two, on the same day or the next day. But Paro said to himself, makkahs usually take for a week. Maybe it's going to reappear. And he had an anxiety and a fear that the Tzfardim will reappear. And the Arv will reappear. That anxiety is also called Tzfardim. Meaning, when you're afraid of a dog, it's like the dog's here. It's a cue. Meaning, I might have thought that all fears, by the way, are the same. All fears are the same. I'm afraid that something that will happen to me. No, there was a fear from Tzfardim that went on for 6 days. Maybe he'll reappear. And the fear that they'll show up again is also called Makat Tzfardim. What a chiddush. For psychiatrists, that when they analyze anxiety and fears and all kinds of things, they should know this morale is a big sign. The fear for something is like the thing itself. And then by Orav, they were afraid that the animals will reappear. At the end, it didn't. But it will reappear. The Makkah is going on for 7 days. The first day they were mamash here, and the other days maybe they'll reappear. Because Paro was afraid. It usually takes a week. So maybe they're going to show up again, resurface. That's called Makkah for the 7 days. What a chiddush. Yeah, that's what he says. He said Mefarish. He said Mefarish. The Kivan Shara Paro Shekol Makkah Etan Shel. He says Mefarish.
But by Tzfardim, it only happens once. It's done.
No, there's about other 4 or 5 Makkahs that were for a week. Because that's what he says. I hear. Maybe Moshe told him. I hear, but the Maral says it. Yes.
Is it possible the Maral's not saying this teretz with Tzfardim?
He said before a difference about the stench.
Yeah, so that benefits Tzfardim because you need at least a few
Makkahs
to say 7.
Okay, I mean, I'm a couple what someone's saying also. Maybe he's not regretting what he answered before about Tzfardim because it's hard to say that he knew it's the second Makkah, but that was for a week.
There's no right from once.
One's not enough. Okay, I'm a couple. Saner, nitzchuni bonai. Fine. So you proved me wrong. So what? So what? So I'm wrong. It happens a lot, don't worry. הרבה מאוד פעמים. But anyway, okay, so Nanach is better. Yesod, the fear of something is like the thing itself. That's a mega Yesod. My wife understands a little bit in psychology. I told her, she says, that's really what psychologists say. But it's like a new kind of mahalach. That the fear is not, there's the thing, and it's the guy, he has a fear. And you might think it's a few darkers less. It's mamish the zachalein. Okay, now it's Vadim, but by Orv and Bard. What a chiddush. Rav Kaduri, that actually I told him if Talmud Vator to fall asleep, what do you say? It works, no? Rav Kaduri, no, that's no raya. No raya. Okay. Okay, but wait, so you know what's like a funny though? I don't know if I mentioned, Rabbi Bixenspanner is a great speaker. Dynamic, loud, clear, geschmack, great. Really great. He speaks every Shabbos, between Kapol Shabbos and Mariv, for about 10 minutes. Shabbos comes in these days at 4, 3:50. What? It's unbelievable. Once he starts speaking, and he's a dynamic speaker and a great speaker, you name it. Beli Guzman, sometimes I look around, 40% fall asleep like this. At 4:10 in the afternoon. Which, what? 4:10, and you know, sometimes I don't see it because I myself fall asleep. And you wonder, 4:10 in the afternoon, and during the weekdays, you don't sleep at 4:10. I mean, during the weekdays, what do you do at 10 past 4? You're in the middle of your office, you're in the middle of your job. No one has a half a minute to sleep. But I guess Shabbos, maybe because the Shabbos Hera came in, you took a shot. It's lo yu'umak. And if it would be a boring speaker, no, he's dynamic, he's gewaldic. It's interesting to listen, it's geschmack, he has a sense of humor, you name it. Im kol zeh. And now again, if Shabbos comes at 9 or 8, no, 4. It's a pella. Maybe it's because the Neshama Yisrael goes in. What do you tell me, guys? Maybe, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, Alimut Schus, 100%. Okay, what we say. Let's go on. The Maral has 2 other answers to this question in verse. Again, Ari's question. How could the Makkah go away after 1 or 2 days? How could that be? It's supposed to be for a week. So the Maral answers what we saw here in the Gurari. It went on a whistle. It went on. Anybody's phone?
Yes, fine.
Is that fine? Okay. That's what he answered. In the Gvuras Hashem, Rabbi say he answers another answer. Give a look. Give a look at footnote 21 where you see the little arrow. ובגבורס השם פרק ל"ג להוסיף לתרץ שני תירוצים. 2 other תירוצים. תירוץ ראשון, by the way, he doesn't bring the teretz that he said here in the Gurari, that the fear that will reappear, that's called the Makkah still here. תירוץ ראשון, שאף הצפרדים שימשה המכה 7 ימים, ותפילת משה הועילה שהצפרדים לא נשארו ליותר מ7 ימים. עין שם. Meaning, let's try to work it out. The way he says over there is, without Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillah, again, without the Makkah goes 7 days. 7 days will be a constant flow of tzvadim, dam, you name it. After 7 days, the flow will stop. That's a given. But what happens with those who came? Are they going to remain in Mitzrayim? There's millions of them. Yeah? And they could be even alive. Meaning they're going to stop. There won't be a new flow after 7 days. But those who already came, and the tefillah might have lived after 7 days as well. Comes the tefillah of Moshe Rabbeinu and says they're going to die after 7 days. So how it says lemachlas, which means that they were removed only the following day. So the way it's brought down here, that's what the Mal says there. Without the tefillah of Moshe, those who already arrived would have kept on staying here, even beyond 7 days. Came the tefillah of Moshe, and everybody was removed after 7 days. All the tzvadim, even those who came up already. That's what he says there. Hi, it says here lemachras, that they were removed the next day. So where's that? I think I want to push it. It's not in front of us, of course. You have to look at his lashon. I would just like to say, I think a Yisod he's referring to. He says in 2 other places. They were here, yeah, but already it's to a certain degree they're removed already for the next day. What does it mean? So I'll give you an example to this. The Talmidim Rabbi Akiva, you know, in that period, from when to when did they die? From Pesach to Shavuos. That's Lashon Lag BaOmer Yavamis. So what's Lag BaOmer? They stopped dying. It says they died from Pesach to Shavuos. So what happened? Did they keep on dying? Yes or no?
Not for like women.
One day they stopped? Meaning it's just for that one day? And then it went on afterwards? So it was a 1 day break? No. It could be. Okay, Geschmack again.
My mother belongs to some.
Ari, help him to close it.
My mother belongs to.
It's okay?
I belong to Mara.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
People falling asleep on play.
Yeah, very good smack. And on Friday night you can't stop it. You know what the moral answers? No, they kept on dying from Lag BaOmer onwards, but no one got ill after Lag BaOmer. After Lag BaOmer, no, the illness stopped. There was no new ill people after Lag BaOmer. Maybe that's what you meant, Rabbi Yosef. The plague stopped. People who got affected before kept on dying. So what are you commemorating in Lag BaOmer? People are still dying. They died till Shavuos. Yeah, but it's from a previous source, not now. And here comes the Yisrael de Maral. I'll show you another place where he says it. If the reason has been removed, the cause has been removed, and it's just going on because of what happened earlier, but now there's no more cause, it's called that it stopped. I'll give you an example where he says it somewhere else, which a big nafkamin al-halacha in a certain way. It says in the Gemara in Megillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish Babel because they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. What's a pasuk? V'yichati leBavel, a pasuk, and I think in Yeshayahu, Nin v'ner v'psalosh in there, and the Gemara says they're going to lose their language and their writing. They're going to lose it. Ask the little places like in the middle of the page. Ask says no, they still speak Babylonian. They still speak it. At the Shemaya, they still speak it. So the answer to this, it's a different one. It's not the language they had once. It changed. The more advanced language they lost, it's a different one. You know the Mal answers? It's the same language that they had once. But but they lost it. Hi, they're still speaking it? Because once they had it, they kept on having it. But today they don't deserve it. Well, what do you want, 50 million people to wake up one morning and forget a language? It's going on, but because of Amol. Because once. If it goes on because Amol, not now, it's called you don't have it anymore. Rabbi, so you want me to make it even more acute? If you go to someone who's 65, and you say, did you get smicha? Are you a Rav? Yeah, I got smicha from a Rav Soloveitchik. Oh, wonderful. That's considered one of the highest smichas in America. I even have their certificate on the wall. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, I got smicha. Can I speak to you today about the halachas of melicha, the Yisrael stuff? Melicha, taruva, yisbasa b'chalav? This was 40 years ago. I don't remember the halachas today, but I knew it then. Today I know. According to the Maral, you're not supposed to call him Rav? You should not be called Rabbi? Because Rabbi means that he knows it now. But if he knew it once, and he got a certificate, and the wall remained, because there was no earthquake, so the wall remained, with a certificate on it. And he still has a legitimate certificate that says proudly, signed by Rabbi Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik, that he has smicha. But today he doesn't remember almost anything. Once he knew it cold. Today he doesn't remember anything. According to the Maral, he's not called a Rav. Because he has a certificate, because once he got it. But today he doesn't deserve it. A mila that you have today, and today you don't deserve it, even though you have it because of once, that's not called you have it. How big you say? It has to be that you deserve it now. Like, I'm sure most of them, that's how it is. They do know it now. Fine. But if he got it, and he just, because once he knew it, it's not called that he has it. No, it's a big sign. Maybe this could be applicable to who knows what. Also to doctors, I don't know. They once knew something well. They were tested. They got great grades. Came out with flying colors. Today they don't remember it. But they got their certificate, and they still have it with them. That the Maral says, that's what happens with the Talmidim Rabbi Akiva. They kept on dying, but it's called that stopped in Lag BaOmer. They kept on dying, and there was still Nebuch Levias happening daily. Yeah, but it's because the plague that happened before Lag B'Omer. After Lag B'Omer, there's no plagues. L'chor, that's what the Maral is also saying by Tzfardim. After Moshe Rabbeinu daven Lamochas, no new frogs came. It's over. The frogs that came are still bouncing around for a week. They are. But they're not coming now in fresh. It's not a 7 days of a flow of frogs. No.
Plateau.
I'm sorry?
Plateau.
Plateau. That's called that the muck is removed. But it's Lamaisa, he's still suffering for a week. A very interesting outlook that it has to be now. Now you have it. That's answer number one that he says in verse. Then look what he says, answer number two. And footnote 21. Right? 2 lines below that little arrow. כי לא הייתה מכה משמת 7 ימים, רק סתם מכה, שלא נאמר בהתירו כדי להשלים המכה. אבל במקום שהיו אומרים ההתירו, כבר נשלמה המכה. שהרי היו אומרים ההתירו, כבר נשלמה המכה. והיו המצרים רוצים לשלוח, ואין צריך יותר להכות. You know when you wait for a week, if they're still stubborn and saying, we're not going to let you go, we're not going to let you go, we're not going to let you go, that went on for a week. But if after that day they say, oh, well, just stop it for us, and then they change their mind. But they're willing to surrender, so they, what's the word in English? Capitulate? Capitulated. They capitulate already. After one day they say, we give up. Daven and you'll go. That's what's in this pasuk also. Mission accomplished. He gave in. So that's okay. When do you say it's a week? When he's not giving in. And he's going out with this chutzpah and saying, no, that's a week. But Bali Musa say this also when a person chas v'shalom has a punishment and the punishment's coming, immediately accept it and have tshuva, and then there's no need that the punishment should prolong. Mamash the side. But if the person still goes around and not changing, so then the punishment will take its full course. And Mamash, they say that. A person knows if everybody knows what he has to deal with. And if something's happening, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving him something, he should say immediately to himself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I got the message. Capitulated. Capitulate. I capitulate, which means I give in. There's no need to punish me further. I surrender. That is, it's a big insight. That's what Ramal's answering also on that point by power. If he says, daven for me, I'm going to let them go, okay. It's checkmate. What's the need to go on for a few days? Mission accomplished. So there's 3 truths of the Maral in this question that Rabari asked. A, there's the fear that will reappear makes it here. Look at all these rhymes. The fear that will reappear makes it here. A fear from something is that it means that something is here. It's a murderki yisod about pachad. If you're afraid of it, so it's here. It's in the room. How do they call it? The white elephant in the room? Whatever it is, it's here. The fear from it makes it here. A murderki chiddush. Right? That's point number 1. That was answer number 1. Answer number 2, the Maral answered that the cause was removed already on the first day. It's still hanging around for a while, but they're just here because they once came. So he is suffering for 7 days, but the makkah was removed. And that's a tzushtel to 2 things. To the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, that Lag B'Omer is considered the day they stopped dying. Hi, they kept on dying for the next 17 days? For a frietige. A milmi yeshana yeshna. You know, it happens a lot in yeshivas. Let's be honest. A boy comes to yeshiva for the first, for the good or for the bad. Let's start with the good example. He comes to yeshiva the first 2-3 years. He learns gewaldig. He makes himself a great name. He's a masmid. He comes to davening. He's great, and he has a reputation. And now he enters shidduchim a year or 2 later. He has a reputation. Bachol mitzian. But Lamais, what happened was the first 3 years he took a learned stark, and then he dried out. And he still has a very good name, not because of what's happening today. Because he made himself a good name, and the name remained. It happens when you have in Yetz Hashem, when you're looking for chassanim for your daughter, for your granddaughter, whatever it is, and he has a good reputation. Check out: is the reputation still today, or it's Amol. By the way, it works unfortunately also the other way. If someone the first 2-3 years mucked around and made himself a bad name, it's so hard to uproot it, even if he did tshuva. That's how it is. That first impression remains. It's very important when you look into it, Mamas, that to check out, is he Mamish learning stark till today? Or the last year he's already dried out? Shiduchim, Ayin Aher, he dried out a little bit. And be honest, it's more chashuv to pay attention to this. Can I know our father of 4 girls? Be'ezer Hashem, Simchas and Nachas. Right? But Emma, it's important to check it out. Because a lot of times it means he was once great. I remember, did you ever hear of Rabbi Socha Meir?
I learned that.
Oh, you learned it by Netivot. Adam Gadol. Right? Adam Gadol. Rabbi Socha Meir, he was the Rosh Yeshiva of Netivot. Kavalda Kiyid. No, he was known, one of those first Talmidim of the Punim Jerav. The Eilam knows him? Heard of him? Rabbi Socha Meir?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember when I got engaged, it was in the Tivot because of my wife's uncle, and I remember he told me it was a big yesod for me. I want to wish you a bracha that you should learn well till the chuppah. Enter the chuppah when you're stagging. That's what he told me. That's a big yesod. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that much. It depends really on the bracha. But a lot of times there's really a lot of things to take care of. Let's be honest. Yes. So there's some chasanim, you don't see them in the Beis Medrash from the day they got engaged till the day they got married. And they have a very good excuse every time to explain why. Especially in Eretz Yisrael that you got to buy a dira. Oh, it's not a big zach. A tall order. Today was the electrician, and then the plumber, and then Nahin, and then the kitchen, and then this. And it was like a busy. And you don't see them at all. And they enter the chuppah yavesh. Yavesh chatzir, namel tzitz. So Rabbi Socha Meir told me, make it a point that you're going to enter the chuppah mitashtagen. He also explained to me, chuppah is a very holy day. Enter it with in a proper way. Not that the last 3 months you're out of it. Yisod Gadol. Okay. And then we also, that fear is here, and then the second answer is that, and the third answer is he already capitulated. I got to get this word down one day. It's a good word. Capitulate means surrender. That's what it means? You already gave in. You already gave in. Which unfortunately did not happen yet with our enemies in Eretz Yisrael. Will Hamas capitulated? Not yet. Hashem Yirachem. Listen, Rabbi say, I'm sure all of you. What's that story on this thing? On this agreement, what's that story? Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anybody gave up psak because no one's being asked anyway, so I should give him psak. But you know the story with the Maram and Gutenberg? Rabbi said, look at what a character means. They put him in jail because they kidnapped him for ransom. And he told the Kehillah, I do not allow you to pay the ransom. And you know how long he stayed in jail? Till the day he died. 11 years. What? No, his body stayed inside. Oh, that's what you mean. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. And then when he died, they already redeemed him. But he told the Kehillah, I asked you to redeem me. Even though it was for him. Yisrael, such a backbone. But over there, I'm not making a tzushtel. Over there, it's money. Here, it's pikuach nefesh. Yesh chilukim. It's not pashut, but everyone is very happy to see those 3 girls come back. No, who wasn't happy? But the question is, what's the price? They say 82% of the Gilad Shalit freed people went back to terrorism. What?
And if those 82% would have been there, someone else would have done it instead of them. There's no shortage of terrorists.
Yeah, that's a svara. Meaning there's hundreds of thousands anyway that hate us. But look what Sinua did. Could you say someone else would have done his job? Anyway, verse 8 should be Lev Malachim V'Sar B'Yad Hashem. Oh, verse I forgot the main thing. Mazel Tov and Trump. That's something that happened since the last time. Yet, as a president. And you know what's Gavaldik? You're not because he's the only one that doesn't care what people say. So he just does what he wants. like once someone said to himself, I don't, maybe it's I'm not going to say name. I'm not politically correct. I'm not. Listen. At the ceremony, it's like a roar. It's like a chashva ceremony with an oath, and all the presidents l'shavar come in. It didn't make him a cheshbon at all. He said the last 4 years were the worst 4 years of America, and he's sitting there, man. That's the you would think maybe say it an hour later. None. He's sitting there with Kamala Harris. Mamish befonav. Ein Adam Meis Bonav B'nei Baal Choyma was not sitting down with Trump. I can promise you. There's no such chazaka. Sitzt da. And everybody's coming. I mean, I don't know. None of us would have done that. I promise you. No matter what you feel. Later I'll say it. I gotta say it there. B'shas Maisa. It's much. That's like I'm not afraid of him. Because he'll do whatever he wants. Yeah. He'll do what he wants. Rabbi say it should be a good week, and only no Yidden should get hurt in Yetz Hashem, and only Psulos Tavis Yeshuas for the Chamas.